Hello, everyone. So, since last few weeks, I was thinking about the prompt library for enterprises. Chances are you have already bought thousands of Copilot licenses. People are using it, and you also have another AI team which does hardcode LLM kind of work, and they also have some prompts. So, wouldn't it be nice to have a central repository for all the prompts within an enterprise? The benefits of having a prompt library in an enterprise are many, but the foremost is that it gives an inspiration, some excitement to your end users who are very new to this Gen AI stack. Most of them even don't know what a prompt is. How is it different from a regular keyword search? So, a prompt library gives them a visual representation of what all prompts they could have used. They can copy it and start playing with it. So it reduces the barrier for your end users to start using Copilot or any other Gen AI. And happy users mean a better return on investment. Chances are that your company has bought thousands of Copilot licenses, and most of them they are not using it to that extent, not because they don't want to, it's just because they lack the knowledge. So a prompt library in that sense goes a long way in helping them utilize this application. And also as an enterprise, you can have better ROI on your investment. Mhm. Also, it reduces the effort. So, if someone has already come up with a good prompt, why not reuse it with all the other users? So, they can just copy this prompt and paste it in their Copilot applications. Per- Perhaps they can just click on a prompt and everything starts working seamlessly within Copilot. It also prevents loss of institutional knowledge because what people are looking for is actually tied to what is there in the system. So if the knowledge is there, why let it go waste when a user leaves the company? Why not have it in a central repository, which will benefit everyone? And also using the same prompt leads to consistency between outcome for all the different users. Also, prompt library is not necessarily limited only to Copilot application. In most of the big enterprises, you also have a dedicated team which does LLM work, hardcore LLM programming for specific use cases. They could also avail of this functionality by putting their prompts into this central repository. So it's a win-win for everyone. Having convinced you, or I hope I have convinced you for having a prompt library, now let's look at what are the options we have, and why is it not that easy to make one. The first option we have for storing our prompt is, of course, the prompt library or prompt application given by Microsoft. And again, it's a brilliant application, but so damn difficult and so badly implemented. For example, the first case is, why is it hiding all the way down over here, right? I would have preferred that it was added on the top so that the user can see it the first thing they start working on. It's hidden, it's already a bummer. So let's have a look at it. That's the standard interface of prompt library. It is accessible to all the licensed as well as non-licensed, that is Copilot license and non-licenses, which is a very good thing. You have your Microsoft prompts released by Microsoft. I would have preferred that I could replace these as an admin with my own custom enterprise prompt. Earlier, Microsoft did promise that there would be some way to inject our own prompts. I guess they're still working on it, but nothing concrete has been given. Again, my ask from Microsoft would be to just let me configure this experience, the main Microsoft prompts experience, and inject my own custom prompts. So I really don't need Microsoft prompts. As an admin, I can always look into it and release the prompts from a broader audience in case it is of useful to everyone. These are the prompts which you can save for yourself, and these are the team prompts. As of now, team prompts is the only way an enterprise can release their own prompts. How? For example, let me go back to Copilot and let me type which is the best LLM application in enterprise world these days? I'm very curious to see what the answer is. GPT 4.0 Cloud Gemini. Apparently, Copilot is nowhere over there. Anyways, so what I could do is I can save it, and that's gets saved in my prompt library or prompt gallery, whatever they call. Let's go back to my prompt. gallery here. I could just go again. It's so damn difficult. Now, how do I go back to my prompt gallery? How do I do that? Right? Come on, make it Microsoft, make it very easy to go to prompt library. See, there is no way. I need to do this and then click on this. Accessibility sucks, and that's why I'm not a big fan of Copilot prompt gallery. Anyway, this was my saved prompt. Imagine a case where I, as an admin, would like to release it to complete company. What I can do is to share it as a team like this, and then maybe you have a team where all your users are based, so you can just add that team over there, right? Not a clean experience, right? It's too cumbersome. It's too goddamn not well implemented, not well thought through, neither well implemented. So if I go back again, you can go to prompt gallery. Uh, you see all the problems accessing this one, and I'm pretty sure nobody is going to ever use it. And that's my prompts which are available. This is an end user experience. Again, I cannot expect my users, enterprise users who hardly know how what Gen AI is to do all this kind of. Give me a better way to access Copilot prompt library and give me a better way to improve the experience. I should be able to fill in my or inject my own prompts into it fairly quickly and easily. Now, the second option you can maintain a prompt library is traditional old SharePoint list. SharePoint comes handy. It's included in your E3, E5 license. So all you need to do is just create a new site collection or site and then add your prompts over there. You can define the metadata into a SharePoint list, perhaps add some pictures and some star ratings so that you can gamify it. Copy the link and send it to your end users. You can also put it on your Yammer pages, or if your enterprise is heavily using Teams channels, you can just flag that or add it as a tab and the users can use it. Again, not a very good fan of it because you lack gamification and better UI on it. Again, it's all about experience of the end users. SharePoint, I'm not really convinced. It can it can do the trick. It can really increase your ROI. It can increase your Copilot adoption by having your prompt listed into SharePoint lists. I'm not really convinced about it. I think we need better UI in applications to do so, and that to an enterprise level application, which can be accessed directly within Teams experience because that's where most of our end users are located. So SharePoint is second option. The third option we have for having a prompt library is an open source Power Apps project created here, PromptBuddy. I will put the link in the YouTube description. As you can see, it is a better UI. You can have your own categorization. So Copilot, Copilot Web, so categories of your prompt. You have all the top contributors here. What are the top prompts based upon the votes and likes? So you can see the gamification is already implemented. And you can also see, and you can also show new prompts and so on and so forth. So it looks like a good application. And the benefit of this is that it works on Power Apps. So chances are, if you have E3, E5, your users are already geared to use this without any additional cost. You can also modify this application based upon your needs. So maybe you don't want top contributors, what you would like to have, as I see most of the customers to have all the categories on the left. Also implement a search button on the top so that Power Apps can go ahead and do the some search, right? So all these options are possible. It's an application. So since it is already a Power Apps, we are talking about the development effort of, I guess, 1 or 2 weeks before you can put it on production. Good thing about this Power Apps is that it's a low barrier to entry. You can gauge what the end user reaction is. And if you're not satisfied with it, you can take it as a baseline and then move to a custom solution that is a store hub. Right? So you write everything yourself on. It's an application in itself. But before you go do that, it's always better to have some kind of taste of the water. PromptBuddy is your way to go. Also, keep in mind that PromptBuddy is not the only solution. I like it because it's on Power Apps. It's quick, 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 and I can get initial answers from my end users, some gauge of whether it will be successful or not, or what do I need to make it successful with the help of Power Apps. Low entry barrier. There are also some C sharp and some custom coded applications in GitHub like this, so feel free to look into them and use them if you so like so. The problem with PromptBuddy, of course, is that it's Power Apps, so it's a bit slow. It takes a bit of a while. This version in particular works with Dataverse. So that means all your end users would have to have premium licenses, Power Apps premium licenses, which I think most of the companies will not. So what you could do is to take this application as a baseline and remove Dataverse references to a SharePoint list, So all the connections and everything should talk to SharePoint. That is something that you can do, or which I have done for most of my customers to overcome the premium Power Apps premium requirement for my end users. Once PowerBuddy is installed, you can use it as a URL, direct URL, or better, you can release it as an app within Team. The app is a preferable option because once a user adds it and pins it on the left side, just next to the Copilot icon, it's much easier to access. But again, it's a bit slow. And secondly, what if in your organization they have disabled the use of Power Apps? So because Power Apps usage comes up for free with E5 and E3 licenses, but at some customers I have seen that they have disabled this option because they're still into initial stages of Power Apps. So in that case, you have no other option but either to go with Prompt Gallery or SharePoint or custom solutions. Before I go, a special thank to Eric, Stewart, and Will for setting up this application. It has helped me a lot. Now, the fourth option is the custom code. So we write something of our own, whether in C Sharp, Python, or JavaScript, or whatever you fancy. My recommendation is always to start with SharePoint as an underlying data source or a database, right? And then write some kind of an SPFX web parts on top of it. It's quick so that you can get initial responses from your end users, something basic, not something very fancy. If you see the people have liked it and users want more, then perhaps you can go ahead and make it a full-fledged application. Definitely, my recommendation slash my worry is that we might end up spending a lot of time creating this application in the first release itself, while it's not really that much popular. It did its job, but it's not wildly popular application. Do I get the ROI of writing this application myself? And because of that reason only, my suggestion would be to write something pretty simple. It can be an SPFX web part onto SharePoint page itself and release it to end users. It can be released as a web page in Teams, in Teams channel. It can also be released as a Teams app, right? But don't spend too much time before being 100% sure that the ROI is going to come. So those are the four options we have. First, let's look at accessibility. How easy or where can the end user access our prompt gallery applications? Prompt gallery had a bit of edge over rest of the options, primarily because it was within Copilot interface, which is plus. But again, users have to go down and then click on that link. Not that clean. Can we add our prompts easily to all these applications? Prompt gallery lacks a lot of marks over there because you have to share it with the team and then user needs to click on prompt gallery, then go to third tab and then look into teams. There is it's not an easy way to release new prompts from an enterprise perspective, and it's not an easy way to consume those prompts from an end user perspective, right? Now, tags and extensibility, can I inject my own company specific tags? So if you look at prompt gallery right now, you have predefined tags which Microsoft released. I, as an end user, would like to have my own tags, and also I, as an admin, would like to extend this application not only to Copilot but to all the other LLM applications which my company is creating, hardcore LLM applications. So I would like to extend it to them. Can I do that? Apparently, not really with Prompt Gallery because tags and accessibility is quite fixed. It is what Microsoft has released. But for the rest of my options, SharePoint custom lists, Power Apps, and custom core is just a matter of adding one more column to your SharePoint list or your database, and it's done. Pretty straightforward, right? It's a huge, huge plus in my case. So it's basically these three things: accessibility, prompt setting, and tags and extensibility. That is a big, big bummer from Gallery. honestly, for me, it would have been a no-brainer if Microsoft would have implemented it properly. So, whosoever is responsible at Microsoft, please listen, 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 and fix these three um, problems with prompt gallery because I think that's the only thing stopping us from using it full extent. Can we gamify? We include likes and star ratings? Not really for prompt gallery or SharePoint list, but for the other two options, yes. In SharePoint list, you can perhaps do a star column, over there, but that's pretty much it. How easy is it to customize the UI? SharePoint list and prompt gallery, you can't do much. It is what it is. But on the other two options, the world is your oyster. Analytics, again, a very big one. Can I have analytics of which is the topmost prompt which is being used or liked? Can I see what prompts users are actually looking at? How good it is, how good it looks, and how much professional and mobile friendly it is. Apparently, prompt gallery again, SharePoint list and custom power apps is really not there. Custom code, you can do whatever you want. And of course, lastly, how much development effort does it take to create this application now? Prompt gallery and SharePoint list is already available. Custom power apps, you can just download what is available in GitHub. Make sure to change the data connections from Dataverse to SharePoint list. Otherwise, you will end up paying premium licenses for all the users. And for custom code, it's based upon design. One more thing about custom Power Apps, and I think I already mentioned, is that it is a bit slow. So when it loads, you will see that famous, loading indicator. It is a bummer, especially if your application becomes widely successful. But for the initial releases, just to test it as a POC, it's a good candidate. So I hope you liked the video. If you have any suggestions or any queries, feel free to put it in the comments below and I will respond back. I learned a lot from this video while creating this video. I hope you too. And if you did, please hit like, share, and subscribe. Being the lazy me, it helps me a lot to get out of my bed. Your appreciation. Thanks.